Ugh, y'all. The inertia was strong with this one. I swear our sofa has developed a gravity well. So it is 9:59 a.m. We have 1 minute. Can I take a nap in a minute? I'll give people time to stagger in here. I hope you know I love you enough that I went and put on pants and a bra. Oh my God. I also took a shower, but that did nothing for waking me up. I am so sad. It is cold, it is wet, it is gross and overcast. And I just wanted to stay in my pajamas and my fiffy robe and my sippers. Why did we choose this so early, Maggie? I have no idea. You're going to have to ask Tuesday me, because Tuesday me was an asshole. It is straight up pants and a bustier. Getting all fancy. We're going to give it 1 more minute for everybody to stagger in here. Why did I do this? Hi, Maggie. Yeah, Tuesday me is always an asshole because the drop is done and I'm like charged and ready to go. And what are we going to get accomplished? And I always make this list of 45,000 things that I am going to do. And Tuesday me always really puts the pressure on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday me. I think we're going to tell Tuesday me is not allowed to play with anybody anymore. Their expectations are way out of line. Well, it is morning. Phyllis, I don't know if it's good. Good would still be sitting on the sofa, swirling coffee, in my fiffy slippers and robe, with a cat on my lap. It must be warm in Fort Worth. The studio always stays warm. There's like 1 billion lights in machines in here. So even in the dead of winter, this is the warmest room in the house. All I'm wearing is long sleeves and yoga pants and a bra and socks and underwear and PPE. I'm wearing my shoes so I don't step on a pin or a needle again. Tuesday mom is grounded. Okay, so we got like 40 of you on. I guess you're ready for the show. Today we are doing dice trays, and dice trays are so simple. Dice trays are so super easy. I love dice trays, and I call them dice trays. They're technically called snap trays. And everybody's like, well, I don't play board games. What are these good for? Y'all, I have got these scattered all over the house. I've got them all over the studio. Like, here's one for the studio bench that's got extra lobster claws and a thimble. Then there's one over by the other machine, and it's got all kinds of little pieces and parts to keep track of. I've got one by my bedside table that usually has my watch and jewelry in it. I've got one over by the kitchen sink that's got my sponge in it. And several people, including my brother-in-law, he's like, can you make me one of these so that when I travel, I can put it on the bedside table and I can put my little hearing aids in it so that in the morning when I get up and I start packing out and I'm ready to go, I don't forget my hearing aids on the nightstand. I'm like, sure, no problem. So they're good for all kinds of stuff. I should use one for my Wonder Clips. Yeah, Wonder Clips are good too. So I'm going to be running both of them, both the 4x4 square and the 5x7 hex. I'm going to run the 4x4 on Cora, and the 5x7 will be over on Betty, so I'll be walking back and forth. And Betty's colors are going to be a little bit off from their stitch order sheet because I don't have two spools of each of these ugly colors. So for dice trays, always hoop up medium weight cutaway. These are light stitch. They're sketchy, and the font is a bean stitch font. So you don't need, if you want to use tearaway, you can totally use tearaway. So load up your pattern, load up your stabilizer, put your hoop in the machine. All right, there we go. And run your die line. Run your die line. Okay, so on the square one, we've got our die line done. I pre-cut all of my fob and 4x4 hoop vinyl to 4.5 by 5.5, which is a little bit bigger than you need. I've also noticed some people going, hey, sometimes my vinyl buckles when I snap it. These have got a pretty good amount of stitching on it, so they're not going to buckle. But if you have buckly, warpy problems in the bottom, you can always hit, and this is where if Ray were online, she'd start screaming at me. You can always hit your stabilizer with just a tad of 505. You don't have to super spray it, just a little bit. And we're going to make sure that our die line is completely covered. And we're going to squish, 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 squish. Okay. And then we're going to put that back in the machine, and we're going to run color stop 2. Color stop 2. Okie dokie. So the 4x4 is green. The little virus bodies are done. And I, again, everything is in the way. I like to cut my jumps as I go. The good news is because these are sketchy and, scribble fill, you don't have to worry about if one of the jumps like that one went under. Ditto there. It's supposed to look all scribbled like, a 3-year-old grabbed a crayon and went, here, look at me. All right, so that's color stop 2. We're going to put it back in, and we're going to run color stop 3, which is the orange detail inside each of the little virus body, cootie body scribbles. And there's my orange. Man, I cannot wake up today. I don't know what it is. It might be the weather. It might be my body goes, hey, it's Saturday. Aren't you supposed to be doing nothing? Okay, so we're going to start the orange. There we go. Okay, so we've got our orange done, and we're gonna clip our jumps real quick. There we go. I don't know why. There we go. All right. So there we go. All clipped and everything. Now we're going to do the text. It's in I chose purple, but that purple, see, our problem is the purple goes across the dark, so it kind of blends in, but it also goes about the white, so it really shines out. Since that's the way I did it, I'm going to go ahead and keep it that way, but I probably really should have rethought my colors. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I want something that's horrible and clashes and bright. And let's see if a different shade of purple pops a little bit better. Let's do this magenta-y purple kind of color and see if that pops a little bit better. And we're going to load it up and start it off. And the hex tray, does your machine cut them for you? No, this is a 770. The 770... Oh, that's the question to Debbie. Well, look at me. I'm pushing the button. That's all. I am a button pushing monkey today. That's all I'm good for. And since the 5x7 has a lot more stuff going on, it's green just now finished. So I am going to be cutting those jumps and putting it on for the orange. Yes, I'm doing two things at once when I'm really not awake and equipped enough to do even one thing at once. I like pushing boundaries. All right, and the hex tray is going back on now, and I'm putting the orange detail, which is color stop 3. Hey Trish, none of my machines are slowed down. They are all running at 650. Hi all, what is stitching? Linda, we're doing dice trays. This one is the 4x4 square dice tray, and I've got a 5x7 hex running on the other machine. And speaking of watching but not stitching, drinking coffee, I'm jealous, Dale. I really am jealous right now. So the orange just finished up on the hex tray. So I'm gonna clip those jumps and then go throw it back on Betty, which is the other 770 over in the corner right now. She's in the corner because that's convenient, not because she's been bad. Betty is actually one of my most reliable machines. Now I'm gonna do the text on this, and I'm gonna do it in a navy blue and see how that is. Do you ever slow your machine down? The 770s, no. The 770s, Trish, I always run at 650, full bore. That's as fast as they'll go. Now the 6 needle and the 10 needle, I do slow those down from 800 to 600 occasionally, depending on what I'm doing. Oh my God, is that ready already? Oi, didn't I just get done doing something? Okay. So jump stitches. Because it's a script rather than a block font, there should be a minimum, yay, of jumps. There should only be 3 or 4 per word rather than with a block font, there's going to be at least 1 jump between every letter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the dot, 6 plus the T, 7. So there'd be 7 jumps there, and that one had 3. This one would normally on a block font. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But this one looks like it's got 1, 2, 3. So script, when you can use it, decreases, it doesn't get rid of all of the jumps 100%, but it gets rid of some of them, so that's nice. All right, now, this is just the little square, and the reason that bean stitch is there is to force or compel this inner vinyl to have a set line to fold on. So I'm going to do it in orange to frame it out. And why didn't I do it earlier? Because when I did this orange, I wasn't done with all of this. We're pushing the vinyl away from the center. So if I'd done that box earlier or first, then when it pushed, as it pushed this vinyl away, we would have gotten bad buckling. So it's the next to the last step to kind of lock the vinyl to the stabilizer to decrease the amount of waves and bumpily that we're gonna get. Yes, there is logic behind most of my design decisions. Do you ever cut the threads on the back? Not for fobs or dice trays or anything like that where the back goes on, there's no need. Because all the ugly is gonna get hid. Okie dokie pokies, it is now time to attach our back on this one. And I'm going to keep with this same orange for my attachment stitch. And since now the bobbin will actually show on the finished product, I am going to change my bobbin to an orange to match. You don't have to do this. As a matter of fact, if you use black vinyl or white vinyl for the back, you can just use a black bobbin or a white bobbin. But this is just, you know, this little bean stitch right here, and then the die lines for the cam snaps are not going to hurt your bobbin basket or your tension too much by running it for, this is less than 200 stitches. It'll be fine. So we're done for the front. Let's flip it over. Let's put our back on pretty side down. If you're in a humid area, you might want to put some WSS on this, but we're not having too much humidity today, so I'm going to roll the dice and hope that my needle plate doesn't catch and I get those ugly loopies. Hang on, loopy, hang on. We're going to put it back in the machine, and we are going to run the final color stop 7. Here we go. The bird loves it when you count. Chris, your bird hates me. It wanted to take off my face. All right, that beep, beep, beep means we're done. Well, we're done with this one. So we've got some jumps to cut. Oop, hold on. The 5x7 just finished up too. Hold on just a second. Okay, it didn't finish. It finished this, so I've got to attach the back for it real quick. And then I'll go throw it back on the machine, and hopefully by the time we're done snipping and clipping and everything, this one will be done and ready for our attention. So yes, we're multitasking this morning, despite the fact that I just didn't want a morning at all. All right, let me go through this on Betty. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to definitely do is cut our jumps. Rawr, there we go. Come here. And these are nice long jumps, so we don't have to worry about tweezers, yay. We don't have to worry about digging in there and getting. These are all I call them finger jumps rather than tweezer jumps. And now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back to clean it up and make it look pretty. And I know you're going too fast, slow down. But the quicker I get this done, the quicker I can go take the bra off and sit on the sofa. Okay, so we've got this ugly little knot right here. I want to cut away all the loopies and the extras, but I do not want to cut the knot, because if you cut the knot, it starts to unravel. So you kind of have to pay attention on that one. All right, so this guy is completely stitched. So I am going to turn off the machine and slide her out of the way so that I have much more working space for what comes next. What comes next? Well, first we have to trim this guy out. So a lot of people like trimming with their scissors, and that's fine. But again, I started life as a seamstress and a quilter, and holding over, especially on straight lines, holding over from my quilting days, a ruler and a roto cutter are my favorite thing ever. Woohoo! Give me elbow room, guys. Get out of the way. There we go. So I cut approximately 1/8 of an inch away from the stitch line. 1/8 of an inch away from the stitch line. Let's see. Kel, what is Chris doing that's making you work? Is she in the room posting memes that she shouldn't be posting? Is that what she's doing? Okay, so on the square ones, I don't round out my corners. It's 4 straight cuts and we're done. Woohoo. Now we are going to need to punch our holes and put in our cam snaps. So I use this little tool right here. I think I got it off of Amazon for like $17, and it's got 6 different hole sizes. I use the smallest for dice trays. Refraining from eating villagers. Thank you very much. And I pre-punch all my cam snap holes. That's why those die lines are there, to make it easier so you don't have to figure out how to line it up and all that good stuff. I did the hard work for you. Do I? No, I don't. No, I don't feel bad. It is a little weird that every time I come in here to do, I'm staring at myself, giving myself the sarcastic eye. All right, now we are going to need 4 sets of snaps, which means we'll need 8 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll need 4 innies. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 outies. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am sure Scott's like, they're called female and male. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, they're innies and outies. So, let's go ahead and put our buttons on. So the pretty button side goes on the back, and the snappy part goes on the inside. And we're going to go innie, alphabetical. Outie. Innie. And yes, I am saying this aloud like a kindergartner, because if I don't say it aloud, I will eventually screw up and do so that's an innie, this is an outie, and I will do 2 outies on the same snap, or 2 innies, or what have you. I've done it before, and it's a fixable problem. You just have to get the snap removal tool and blah, blah, blah. But I hate doing more work than I absolutely have to. So that's outie. So this is an innie. I've probably put mismatched snaps on fobs or dice trays probably a good 24 times. And every time it's one of those V8 moments. Oh, man. So outie. and innie. No, that's an innie. This should be an outie. Yes, they are all matched. Yay! I didn't screw that up. Okay, and now we're going to snap it. Snap it. And again, we'll have to train our vinyl a little bit. This is a shape that it is not used to being in. So there's the 4x4, and I just heard the 5x7 finish itself up. So let me go grab that. Do you use a press? Yes, I do have a press. It's over attached to the end of the workbench. It's really hard to get the camera to do the bench. Rivets are permanent. Let's see, leather punch works. Okay, I'll be back in just a second. Let me go grab the 5x7 so we can cut and trim that one. And grab, the 5x7. Okay, so here's the 5x7. I did the words in navy blue, and boy, did that really pop. Although it doesn't look as hideously tacky, obnoxious as I was going for, but we'll survive. Okay, so I need to snip my jumps because I didn't do it on the lettering. I was too busy working on the 4x4 tray. And that's what happens in the studio is, there's usually a huge stack of you have to cut jumps, you have to do finish work, you have to unhoop this guy because I'm running so many machines. I'm just putting one hoop in and taking a hoop out and throwing it to the side and going, I'll get to it later. So usually like Friday afternoons or Saturday mornings, not too early on Saturday mornings, but Saturday mornings, I've got a stack of like 15 hoops that I have to go through and clean up and take care of before I can get them ready for pictures on Sunday for the drop on Monday. As a matter of fact, I'm staring at a huge ugly stack right in front of the window right now. Ugh. Let's see. How to train your vinyl. That might actually need to be a patch. Yeah, I need to do another series of adult merit badges, but I think we need to do hobby specific, like a set of adult merit badges for embroidery and sewing, like didn't cut off 2 fingers using the roto cutter, didn't drop the seam ripper on my unclad foot. Okay, and then of course we got to flip over to the back and get rid of the nasties back here. Yes, please. But you can do that. No, because at night I'm usually going through, let's see. Chris, you can do that task at night in front of the TV. No, because at night usually I'm going through the business emails and going through the fan group and going through the website for errors and problems. So, no, I don't migrate that stuff to the living room because from about 6 at night until I go to bed, I'm doing maintenance on the virtual part of the business rather than the physical part. Okay, so we're going to pop it out of our hoop. There we go. And now, we have to trim this one down. Same deal, guys. We're going to trim it 1/8 of an inch, but then we're going to come back with skizzers and round out. So, 1/8 of an inch. And this one's going to require 6 cuts because it's a hexagon rather than 4 cuts for a square. What is the technical term for a square? Does anybody know? Can you remember all the way back to your geometry in like 7th grade? Okay, and we've got our 6 sides cut. And now we're going to take our scissors. Rhombus! Yay, patience. I believe it's actually also an equilateral rhombus, but I can't remember 7th grade geometry. So we're going to just slightly curb following our stitch line to give it a better finish look. And then, whereas the square one had 4 sets of cam snaps, this one, well, first I got to punch my holes. Ooh, $50 wood. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is one type better than another when making these, pliable versus stiffer? Both have benefits and detractors. Floppy vinyl folds better and you can crease it better, but the stitches sink. Stiff vinyl, the stitches will stay on top, very pretty, very nice, but it's a bugger-boo to train to fold. So you kind of have to roll the dice. Sometimes I cut the difference and like the top will be stiff so that the stitches stay popped up, but the backing will be floppy so that it folds better. And, you know, stiff plus floppy equals just right. It's like the Goldilocks problem. All right, so now I'm going to need 6 full sets. So that's 12 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's going to be 6 outies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outies. And 6 innies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 innies. All right. And now we need this, and we're going to go outie then innie. So push it through. Now, if you'll notice, there's the hole. I don't want that caught in my smush because it'll keep my smush from being flat. So I picked that out. So there we go. And there we go. So that was an outie. So this one has to be an innie. And make sure that our debris is gone. And now, outie. Make sure our debris is gone. Oh, there we go. All rhombi are equilateral. Thank you, Corey. I have a table press, Patience. It's right over there, and I usually use it. The problem is getting the camera set up to focus. Also, most people don't have a table press, so I'm doing it like you guys would do it at home. And that's also why I use the 770 so much. It would be way faster for me to load 4 or 5 test patterns on an 8x12 hoop, throw it on a 10 needle, walk away, and not come back for a few hours. But I want to mimic as much as possible what the average home embroiderer is doing. And the average home embroiderer is doing it on a 770 or a 500. And they don't have the, $100 table press. They've got the $10 cam pliers. So if I can do it, if I can mimic it with the same tools as the average embroiderer without many problems, then I know we're good to go. My life would be hella way more easier if I just used the time-saving tools I've got, like the table press, and I've actually got a 8x14 hoop. I could probably put 10 fobs in that, hook it up and rock and roll. But I want to see the problems that you might encounter as you go along and be able to troubleshoot them for you. And also, if I can, design the problem out so you don't face it again. Apparently both my brother machines only like pre-wound bobbins. Oh, Laura, I'm sorry. Okay, so I need an Audi. I'm really impressed with myself that I've managed to do this without screwing it up, considering how foggy-brained I am. And, dude, I don't even know what time it is, but I should be awake by now, seriously. What is wrong with my body? Last one! Yay! Well, of course, Karen, I'm going to think of you guys. I know that not every one of you is a maker that does shows and does, 10, 15 of a fob at a time on a multi-needle, and then sets up the press and rock and rolls, or uses, the scan and cut to cut out your fobs. Most of you guys, have a 500 or a 770, and it's just, I have got a real day job and I can only do this 1 hour or 2 hours a week. So let's make it as problem-free as possible. Snaps can't withstand the pressure of my Cam Professional hand press. Huh. Let's see. Okay, so it's only 8:45. Right, I was thinking how you could talk into Innie and Audi without messing up. It was America. Okay. Hey, Chris, I'm a professional. Try this at home. 16 years of teaching. 16 years of 13 and 14-year-olds yelling questions at me while I'm trying to get something else done. Trust me, this is a skill acquired over professional training. All right, guys, so there is our 5x7 hex Cootie container. And there is our 4x4 square Cootie container. I hope if you didn't stitch along with us, if you just watched and you've never done a dice tray before, you saw how very easy these guys are. There is nothing to be afraid of within the hoop. No, Kelly, you're not average. You're extraordinarily special. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll be online for a little bit longer today, but not much, like probably 15, 20 minutes, because we have to go run some errands today. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoy your hex trays and your dice trays. Love you. Peace.